All right, guys. So this is our NTI day 2 lesson. So, um, you are gonna go ahead and set your paper up just like normal, name, class period, and date. And the title for our notes today is How Are Three or More Angles Related? So while I am writing that down, I just want to say I hope you guys are still having a great week practicing your social distancing and staying safe and healthy while we are out of school. I really do miss you guys and hope we are back soon. So it is important for you to know that angles are formed when two lines intersect. Okay, so basically all that means is if you've got two lines going through each other, you are going to have some angles, which really is not a super hard concept to understand. Okay, and then today we're going to learn about two more types of angles. Sorry, I was yawning. So two more types of angles. We're going to learn about adjacent angles and vertical angles. So I'm going to be writing label the adjacent and vertical angles below. I do want you to write that just so you are aware of what two types of angles we are talking about. So we are going to draw a straight line, and then we're going to draw a slanted line going through it. And then we're going to start labeling some angles. So our first angle here, we are going to label as angle D, the second one as angle A, this one down here as angle C, and finally angle B. So vertical angles are angles that are across from each other. So that's the easiest way I can think to explain it to you. So across from each other. So, or diagonal from each other. So as you can see here, my vertical angles are going to be angle A and angle C. So you can see that they're kind of mirrored. They're right across from each other. And they kind of look the same. So that's important to think about, like how those vertical angles look the same. We're going to talk about that in just a second. And then angle D and angle B are going to be vertical angles as well. So it's important for you to know that vertical angles are congruent, which means that they have the same measurements, okay? So angle D and angle B are going to be congruent. They're the same thing, okay? And it's important that you use congruent instead of equal because we're talking about measurements here, okay? So they are congruent, which means they have the same angle measures. And then angle A and angle C are going to have the same measures too. So now we're going to talk about adjacent angles. And those are angles that touch each other but aren't directly across from each other. So if you look, angle A and angle D, and then angle A and angle B are going to be adjacent, and then angle C and angle D, and angle C and angle B. And basically what that means is they touch each other, and that's what all that means, is that they're touching. So if you look, angle A and angle C really aren't like touching. They only share a vertex. They don't share any of the same legs. Okay? Whereas adjacent angles will always share a leg. And we'll touch on that down here too. Okay? So if angle A has a measure of 110 degrees, this problem is going to ask you to determine the measure of the other three angles, okay? So that means we're going to find the measure of angle B, of angle C, and angle D. And I'm going to redraw that drawing we drew, or the model we drew on the first page. And I'm looking back because I couldn't remember what it looked like. And we're going to talk about it really quick as soon as I get it drawn, just so I can really hit home how you find adjacent angles versus vertical angles, because I want you to be able to understand the difference between them. So when I'm talking about adjacent angles, so if we look right here, we've got angle A and angle D. So they share this leg right here, okay? They're going to share that leg right there, and that's how I know that they're adjacent, because they share a leg. If I look over here at angle A and angle B, they share this leg right here. Okay, so they're adjacent. But if I look at angle C and angle A, they don't share any legs, which tells me that they're going to be the vertical angles in this situation, okay? So if you look at angle C and angle D, they share a leg right here, and then angle C and angle B share a leg right here. So that's what I mean by that they're touching or that they're adjacent. It just means that they share a leg. So if they share a leg, they cannot be vertical angles. Vertical angles do not share legs, but they do share a vertex, okay, which is the point right here in the middle. So I want you to just really, really, really understand that. So while we're doing this problem, okay, I want you to think about how we talked about vertical angles. So we're going to go ahead and start talking about angle C when we're solving this problem, okay? And we know that angle A and angle C have to be congruent because they're vertical angles. So that means that their angle measures are going to be the same, which means that if angle A is 110 degrees, then angle C is also 110 degrees. We also know that angle A and angle D are going to add to 180 degrees right here because they both sit on this straight angle, okay, which means they are supplementary. So we use the equation 110 plus the measurement of angle D, that's what that M is in front of it, it's just saying the measurement, equals 180. So we're going to subtract 110 from both sides. And we're going to find out that the measurement of angle D is going to be equal to 70 degrees. Okay? So we figure that out just the same way we did all those example problems in yesterday's lesson. We know that since they both sit on that straight line, they have to equal 180 degrees. Okay? So from there, we can also figure out the measurement of angle B, our last remaining angle. Okay, so we know that angle D is congruent to angle B, because remember we said that these were vertical angles. So angle B has to equal 70 degrees, just like angle D. Okay, since they are congruent, they have to have the same angle measurement. So go ahead and pause the video here if you need time to copy that down, because I'm about to erase it all. Okay, and we are going to answer one more question about this model. And I'm sorry, if you hear the dogs in the background, I am quarantined at my parents' house. We're practicing social distancing at my parents'. So my dog and their dog are here, so there's a lot of barking going on. So I'm sorry if you hear it. So we're going to think about what we notice about these four angles, okay? So there's a bunch of different things you could notice that we've got two adjacent angles, we've got two different sets of vertical angles, we've got a bunch of different things. But one thing that we should notice is that all four of these angles add up to 360 degrees. Okay? And I'm making it look so goofy because I want you to remember it. So every time you have something that looks like this, all four of your angles should add to 360 degrees. So it's a really easy way to check your work. So if you like add the measurement of angle A plus angle B plus C plus D and you don't get 360, then you've done something wrong, okay? So it's just an easy way to kind of figure that out. So we're going to stop right here. Like I said, we're going to stop right here, and I'm going to then do the part 2 like I've been doing on the other videos. I just think this is a good stopping point. So go ahead and finish up this sentence and then go ahead and start the next video.